Right now on Good Morning America First Look, the war against Iran escalating. New video of U.S. attacks destroying Iranian ships and missile launchers.
And now the first chartered flight evacuating Americans from the region as 2 more fallen American soldiers are identified.
Here at home, the Attorney General now subpoenaed as lawmakers investigate the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
After weeks in the spotlight, a married Texas congressman now admits having an affair with an aide who later died by suicide.
A small plane slams into this Phoenix neighborhood, narrowly missing a baby's bedroom, what neighbors saw and heard.
Plus, a women's college basketball fight so intense, the referee needed medical attention.
Later, we pay tribute to Lou Holtz and his lessons for life.
New backlash over Health Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. taking on Dunkin' and Starbucks.
And the seal who just can't get enough of his rubber ducky.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America First Look.
Good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Hannah Batal. We begin with the U.S. military ramping up attacks on Iran, vowing to drive deeper into the country.
And we're seeing new attacks on Iranian ships. And now the State Department has announced the first chartered flight carrying American evacuees has taken off from the Middle East.
The Pentagon also identifying 2 more of the 6 Americans killed in the early hours of this conflict.
This war has now impacted a vast region from Turkey, which was allegedly targeted by an Iranian missile, all the way to the Indian Ocean, where an Iranian warship was sunk. ABC's Marcus Moore continues our coverage. He's in Doha, Qatar. Marcus, good morning.
Hey, Sophie and Hannah, good morning to you. It's remarkable how much is happening here in the region. As you just mentioned, the first chartered flight has now evacuated Americans from the Middle East as the Pentagon shares new video from the front lines of this expanding war.
Overnight, new video of U.S. forces destroying what the Pentagon describes as an advanced Iranian warship. The U.S. says 20 Iranian naval vessels have now been sunk, including this Iranian ship in the Indian Ocean, torpedoed by a U.S. submarine. The first such attack by the Navy since 1945. Nearly 150 people on board are presumed dead. U.S. officials also ramping up the war effort over land, vowing to strike deeper inside Iran, releasing this video of long-range precision strike missiles being used in combat for the first time.
We're in very good shape now. I want to let you know that, and we will continue forward. But it's a great display of military strength.
The Pentagon now identifying more of the U.S. troops believed to have been killed in Sunday's Iranian drone attack in Kuwait. They include Major Jeffrey O'Brien of Iowa and Chief Warrant Officer Robert Marsan of California. The 4 other victims were already identified, including Sergeant First Class Nicola Moore of Minnesota, a mother of 2 whose husband says he spoke to her 2 hours before she was killed. She was just days from returning home. Iran overnight launching more missiles toward Israel and Saudi Arabia as the State Department announced the first chartered flight carrying American evacuees had departed the Middle East.
To be here, close to a week later is definitely disheartening.
Here in Qatar, I met Ryan Blackman from Frisco, Texas. He's hoping to get home to his wife and 3 kids.
I have hopes that every day is going to be the last day, that I'll be here and ultimately get to go back home.
Thousands of Americans across 14 countries are urgently trying to flee the region. Sarah Monti from Nashville says a missile narrowly missed her hotel in Dubai.
I have a video of a missile that was deflected right off of our balcony. It was something that you never think you're going to live through. It's nerve-wracking to say the least.
The State Department says it is actively securing more planes for evacuees. As the military takes out more enemy missile launchers, Central Command says the number of missile attacks from Iran has dropped nearly 90%, and drone launches are down more than 70%. The Pentagon is downplaying concerns that the U.S. could run low on expensive missile interceptors.
We have sufficient precision munitions for the task at hand, both on the offense and defense.
And the rights group says more than 1,000 people have now been killed in Iran, including the Iranian commander held responsible for an attempted assassination plot against President Trump. The death toll also includes more than 170 people who Iran says were killed after an airstrike on a girls' school. U.S. officials say they are investigating that incident, saying the U.S. never targets civilians. Sophie, Hannah.
Marcus Moore, we know you'll continue to follow the developments from Qatar. Thank you. A remarkable scene from Syria. NATO says it intercepted this Iranian missile, which slammed into that field near an airport. Thankfully, no injuries were reported.
Meanwhile, in Washington, more questions about the timing of this war. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has that angle of the story. Nicole, good morning.
Yeah, Sophie, good morning. As the war against Iran widens, a political battle is playing out here in the nation's capital. One moment on Capitol Hill even turned violent.
This morning, the Pentagon marking the first 100 hours of the war in Iran by releasing this video showing strikes on multiple Iranian targets.
We are also sinking the Iranian Navy, the entire Navy.
The Trump administration saying this is just the beginning of the war, and now a victory for the White House.
The motion to discharge is not approved.
Republicans in Congress defeating an effort by Democrats to rein in President Trump's war powers. The measure would have prevented further military action without congressional approval, but Senate Republicans pointing out past presidents from Bush to Obama also conducted military operations without congressional approval.
You don't have to authorize military operations. They can go on as long as the president wants them to go on until you cut off funding.
It comes as the president faces growing scrutiny over his rationale for ordering the attack on Iran. Top officials saying Trump acted on intelligence and insisting that Iran posed an imminent threat. Critics want proof. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt yesterday saying this.
I think the president had a good feeling that the Iranian regime was going to strike United States assets. The president had a feeling, again, based on fact, that Iran was going to strike the United States, was going to strike our assets in the region.
Democrats pouncing. Senator Chris Coons saying, quote, the president and his administration keep shifting their rationale for the war. The only thing that has remained consistent is the lack of strategy for how to wage it. That's what happens when you launch a war based on gut feelings. While the war of words plays out, an actual fight broke out during this Senate hearing.
No one wants to fight for Israel!
An anti-war protester identified as 44-year-old Brian McGinnis clashing with police. Montana Senator Tim Sheehy then helping officers remove McGinnis, whose arm appeared to snap. He now faces multiple charges, including assaulting an officer.
And McGinnis is a U.S. Senate candidate from North Carolina under the Green Party. His website says he's also a Marine veteran. I also want to mention those 3 Capitol Police officers were treated for injuries. Sophie.
Nicole, thank you for that report. We have more from the Middle East later in this newscast and all day on our streaming service, ABC News Live.
The House Oversight Committee has voted to subpoena Attorney General Pam Bondi over the handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case. Bondi will have to testify in a closed-door deposition. Lawmakers on both sides have expressed frustration that not all of the Epstein files have been released as required by law.
Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez of Texas now admits having an affair with an aide who later died by suicide. Gonzalez, who's under investigation by the House Ethics Committee, appeared on a radio show one day after his primary race went to a runoff. The father of 6 says he's now reconciled with his wife.
I made a mistake, and I had a lapse in judgment, and there was a lack of faith, and I take full responsibility for those actions. I hadn't spoken with Ms. Santos since June of 2024. She passed September of 2025. I had absolutely nothing to do with her tragic passing. And in fact, I was shocked just as much as everyone else.
House ethics rules prohibit lawmakers from engaging in sexual relationships with subordinates. Also in Texas, the website Axios reports President Trump is expected to endorse Senator John Cornyn in his primary runoff with Ken Paxton. Democrats turned out in much higher numbers than Republicans for the primaries, a sign of enthusiasm ahead of the midterm elections.
We're learning more about the small plane that crashed into a Phoenix neighborhood. 3 people were injured, the pilot, a student passenger, and a person in that house. The plane was trying to return to a small airport when it suffered a mechanical problem. A home surveillance camera captured the moment the plane fell out of the sky. Neighbors rushed to the scene.
The pilots were already out of the cockpit. They were walking and, able to walk on their own, but they were definitely disoriented and bloodied, and definitely, I just asked if they were okay and just kind of gave me a nod. But again, smell of jet fuel really wasn't time to talk. It was just time to get across the street and get out of danger.
The plane narrowly missed a baby's bedroom. The baby was not inside.
Scary stuff. Time now for your Thursday weather.
Good morning. Spring and winter doing battle on the weather map. Look at the severe weather this afternoon from Texas up to about Kansas. Rain goes into the northeast. In fact, a couple of rounds today. It's a wet morning in New York City, back to Cincinnati and southern Illinois, and then more rain and ice coming into the northeast tonight. Could be a stormy wake-up call from the plains all the way into the upper Midwest. In fact, from Oklahoma City to Kansas City, an enhanced risk. Some winds, very large hail, even an isolated tornado. That threat goes up to Cedar Rapids. And out ahead of that, lots of record warmth there. Temperatures in the 80s in the southeast. That's your forecast. I'm ABC News meteorologist Lee Goldberg.
Coming up, stunning new allegations about child sex abuse in the Catholic Church.
Also ahead, a wild chase sends a car sliding down the wrong side of the highway with a baby inside.
And the questions on Capitol Hill get personal for DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. We're back with a car flipping over and sliding into oncoming traffic on Interstate 5 in Washington. The crash ended a chase that hit speeds topping 100 miles an hour. Police say the driver and another adult were injured. A baby was in the car, not in a car seat, but is okay.
A new report details an alleged cover-up of sexual abuse by Catholic priests in Rhode Island over decades. The report from the state's Attorney General documents abuse by 75 priests involving 300 child victims. It criticizes the church for lack of transparency. In response, the Diocese of Providence acknowledged serious missteps.
Some tense moments on Capitol Hill. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem was questioned about a personal relationship, about taxpayer money spent on jets, even about a blanket that caused controversy. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
Things got fiery and personal during a second day of hearings on Capitol Hill for Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
You spent $172 million to buy not one, but 2 luxury jets for your travel, and now you're using taxpayer funds to lease a 3rd jet.
Noem defended the jets, saying they were approved by Congress. Some Democrats also pressed her about Corey Lewandowski, who serves as a special advisor.
Have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski? Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today. This is what you do.
Hold on, I'm not doing anything.
Liberal left
okay.
is you go off and you attack conservative women and you say that we're either stupid
I haven't
or
said
we're
anything.
sluts.
All right, so listen.
And that's what you do.
Noem was also asked about a reported incident involving a blanket.
When your special blanket, your blankie, was left on one of the government jets and not transported over the new one, your special government employee, Corey Lewandowski, chivalrously stepped forward to fire the pilot midair.
Secretary Noem, did you or your staff fire one of your pilots recently?
No.
No pilot was relieved of their duty?
No.
Not
that I'm aware of.
The topic turning to immigration enforcement and the killings of Alex Preddy and Renee Good in Minnesota.
Now, I want to give you a chance before the entire country to correct your false and defamatory claim. Based on what you know today, Madam Secretary, were Renee Good and Alex Preddy domestic terrorists?
The Secretary not directly answering the question.
My condolences to their families, because I know that their lives will never be the same after that.
Some Republicans criticizing the hearing and supporting Noem.
I apologize for the way you've been treated. To paraphrase someone, ad hominem attacks are the last refuge of the scoundrel. So thank you for your service and thank you for being here today.
Much of the Homeland Security Department remains shut down. Democrats are holding back funding, demanding reforms to immigration enforcement. Sophie, Hannah. Andrea, thanks. Coming up, how a car insurance company is accused of spying on drivers.
Also ahead, life lessons from Lou Holtz. Back now with an update on evidence in the Nancy Guthrie case. The sheriff now says DNA on a glove found about 2 miles from Guthrie's home is from a local restaurant worker with no connection to the investigation.
A judge has cleared the way for a lawsuit against Allstate to move forward. The insurance company is accused of tracking drivers without their consent through their phones. Allstate says company policies say data collection is possible and customers can opt out.
A scary moment during this fight in women's college basketball. A referee was knocked to the floor while trying to break up the players from South Alabama and Coastal Carolina. She was evaluated and is okay. 8 players were ejected.
We turn now to the tributes for a college football icon. College football fans are mourning the death of legendary coach Lou Holtz. Over a career that spanned nearly 5 decades, Holtz built a reputation for turning struggling programs into winners, most notably at Notre Dame.
Number 1 in the 1988 collegiate football season.
In 1988, he guided the Fighting Irish to an undefeated season and national championship, acting not only as a coach, but a mentor who sought to bring out the best in his players.
To watch them grow and develop and teach them how to make good choices. See, I never really felt I coached football. I felt I coached life.
To emphasize the importance of working as a team, Holtz had the last names taken off player jerseys and introduced the now iconic "Play Like a Champion Today" sign that hangs outside the locker room. He's also remembered for his fiery yet inspirational speeches and quotes.
If you want to do something bad enough, you'll find a way. If you don't want to do it bad enough, you'll find an excuse.
Holtz left Notre Dame in 1996 and retired from coaching in 2004, writing books and working as an analyst for ESPN. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2008. The same year, Notre Dame unveiled this statue of him. Tributes pouring in. Current Fighting Irish coach Marcus Freeman saying he admired the values Holtz used to build the foundation of his coaching career: love, trust, and commitment. Holtz's son writing, "He was successful, but more important, he was significant."
God didn't put us on this earth to be average. He put us on this earth to be the best we can.
Lou Holtz was 89. Truly a legend. He is survived by his 4 children. His funeral will be held at Notre Dame.
Coming up, a race car made of chocolate.
Like the sound of that, plus a new backlash over RFK Jr. taking on Dunkin's coffee.
Time to check the pulse. We start with Health Secretary Robert Kennedy taking on Dunkin'.
It's all about ingredients. Kennedy says Dunkin' and other companies, including Starbucks, are going to be called upon to prove their ingredients are safe. One example he questioned is a Dunkin' iced coffee with 115 grams of sugar.
But Massachusetts-based Dunkin' is getting support from the state's governor, who posted this. Come and take it. Next, 2 brothers from Texas are on the brink of history.
Congressman Troy Nehls is retiring, but his identical twin Trevor just won the primary to replace him. If he wins the general election, he'll be the first member of Congress to succeed his twin. Next, a fun post-game moment in the NBA.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Thunder wearing this massive coat. Someone compared him to Chewbacca. That's one way to get attention. Okay, next, a giant piece of chocolate like we have never seen.
Talk about a sweet ride. It took 1,200 hours to create this 16-foot-long Formula One race car made of chocolate. It weighs about 800 pounds and celebrates Kit Kat's partnership with Formula One. Next, a seal in Boston and his rubber ducky.
Trainers say the duck helps Reggae with his focus and problem-solving skills, and as you can see, he loves it, and I love him.
Top headlines next. Checking more top stories, Iran's foreign minister is warning that the U.S. will come to regret the precedent set after a submarine sank an Iranian warship with a torpedo, first such attack since 1945. As the war intensifies, U.S. forces are looking to strike deeper into Iran. Iranian forces are firing back. First charter flight evacuating stranded Americans has now flown out of the Middle East, and the Pentagon has identified the 2 remaining of 6 American soldiers killed in Kuwait.
Analysts say Russia is losing ground in Ukraine for the first time in more than 2 years, but the trend in the occupied territory is not expected to continue. They say Russia will likely renew its offensive in the spring.
The White House says big tech companies, including Google and Microsoft, are pledging to pay for the power that their massive new data centers use. The goal is to bring down consumers' electricity bills, which spiked 6% in January.
Today's weather, stormy across the country, rain and ice in the northeast, severe storms in the plains, rain and mountain snow in the northwest.
And finally, the new burger wars.
Here's Danny New.
All right, the moment of truth.
One small bite for man.
That's a big bite for a big arch.
One giant controversy for the internet. In the past few weeks, social media has been having a whole Big Mac's worth of fun with this video of McDonald's CEO Chris Kempczinski as he tries to demonstrate his love of the fast food chain's new Big Arch burger. As you can see, he does not exactly take the biggest bite. One commenter even shared a screen grab from this SpongeBob scene where Squidward cautiously tries a Krabby Patty for the first time. Meanwhile, another commenter wrote somebody said he was eating that burger like he was a contestant on Fear Factor.
I love this product. It is so good.
Kempczinski also refers to the burger as a quote-unquote product multiple times, which commenters also poked fun at for sounding so businesslike. In fact, McDonald's is now also having fun with this attention, sharing a photo to X and saying, "Take a bite of our new product." But did we think the other burger companies would really sit this out? On Monday, Burger King CEO Tom Curtis rolled up his sleeves and got in the kitchen, albeit protected by an apron.
I thought I'd come down to our kitchen here at Wendy's.
And then on Wednesday, oh, what do you know? Wendy's U.S. President Pete Serkin suddenly had a hankering for a Baconator.
Absolutely wonderful.
And he took not one, not two, not three, but 4 bites before washing it down with their signature Frosty. One commenter writing, "My goodness, move aside cola wars of the 80s and 70s. The burger wars of the 2020s are here." And guys, this is the big arch. Got released this week, but what does it taste like? Sorry, too big of a bite. Sorry, guys. Back to you.
That's your Good Morning America First Look. Have a great day, everyone.